Alright, so we're on our next call. We have an ice machine that's not working. It is showing like a red light. We're going to open it up and see what the code is. Alright, so I opened it up. Now we have a code. It says code 4. It is a Scottman unit. So it's saying that we have refrigeration pressure too high or too low. And if you look back through here, you can tell that this unit is a water-cooled unit. So there's the coil back there for cooling. So we have 2 ports here. We can check the charge. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to check and ohm these out and see if they both ohm out. And then we'll kind of go from there. Okay, I'm trying to get the right angle on this. If you can see, I'm just testing the, it looks like a high pressure switch. I haven't looked yet to see for sure which one it is. But the top one did ohm out, but the bottom one is just showing it's open. So we either got a bad switch or a bad pressure problem. I gotta figure out if it's a high side or low side. I just can't remember where offhand. Usually it's a high side, but alright, this is a new one on me. So this is my high side, this is my low side. So it is actually being held out on low pressure. My pressure is 16 on both of them, so they're equalized. Well, the weird problem I'm seeing is my high side is 100% full of oil. So we're going to have to pull everything out of it and start over. I mean, I imagine it is low, but we're going to have to pull it out, put a vacuum on it, and pressure test it just to see what we can find out. I don't know why there's oil all the way back up there, though. So we'll have to figure that out. Alright, so we're just sitting here, and we're going to actually switch this over to a pressure hold. So let's let that stabilize a little bit. We got up to 170. We're just going to let it sit though. So I will check back in here in a few minutes. It looks weak. We'll give it about 10-15 minutes, see what it's going to do. And then we'll go from there. Alright, so we've been letting it sit on there for a little over 10 minutes. We really haven't moved. I know when I first started it was at 170.2 or something like that, but after about 2 minutes it kind of started settling down to 169, something like it is right now. It's been bouncing between 169.2 and 169.6. I haven't really seen it go below 169.2 yet. So this is a water cooled. We did check the pressure switch to make sure that it was actually low. Pressure switch was open, so that's why it's giving us code number 4. I actually still have power to the unit, but I turned it off. I'm accessing the system. The system had, on my 1 gauges it's at 16, but then I recalibrated them and it actually is at 5 PSI. But it was shooting oil out of the high side, which I thought was kind of weird. So what we're doing now is we're just putting the pressure test on it. We're going to let it sit a little bit longer. Ooh, it went to 1. I didn't see it do that yet. Maybe we do have a small leak somewhere. Hopefully it ain't in the condenser coil over back there. So we're going to let it sit for about 20 more minutes and see if it drops below 1. Ooh, it just hit 0. I'm going to get some soap bubbles, start spraying everything down, see if it's my gauges or if it's actually the unit itself. This was just PM the other day, so maybe something was done wrong on it. I don't know. We're still kind of just speculating at this point. I mean, it could have a leak or something else. I'm not seeing a big giant leak for it to be empty. But we will go back to it. Alright guys, so I moved around lines and everything like that because it wasn't really dropping. It was still sitting at 169.2 and bouncing around up and down. So I started moving lines around and started hearing a hiss. So we found a good vibration leak right there. So at this point, I'm gonna check this line over here just to make sure it's still okay. But I'm gonna cut this, throw a coupling in it. Oh, there you can hear it good. So I'm gonna cut it, put a coupling in it, and we'll run nitrogen through it as we braze it. Once we get it brazed, then we'll put a good vacuum on it, and then weigh in 20 ounces of 404. Just gonna go ahead and cut it right where the hole is. Not a whole lot of room. I got a ceiling real tight to me. Like everything is fighting me. I can barely get my hands in here. So I'm gonna easily bend this out. I'm gonna find my hole. I love my handy dandy minis. So we already let all the nitrogen out. There's no charge in it, so we won't have no problem letting it out or cutting this line loose. And instead of just running braze over it, I go ahead and put a coupling in it. Just feel like it's a lot better repair with the location and how hard it is to get to back in this corner. It kind of makes it a pain in the butt. I always try snapping my lines too. The reason I do that is because I do not want that burr to create a flash point. See the hole? I wonder if we can see on the inside. Quite not with the camera. Alright, so I cut the old filter dryer out in the tube because that's where it was leaking. Put the new filter dryer in, and I'm getting ready to use a flaring tool to flare where I'm gonna weld. So I'm gonna go ahead and flare that. So that way, the direction's this way. So we don't want to create a flash point. So I'll flash that. I'll flare it that way, or not flare it. I'm sorry. I'll swedge it. I keep saying flare for some reason, but I'm gonna swedge it, and we're gonna run it. Brand new line, brand new filter dryer up, and braze it shut. So I'll go ahead and get it all swedged, and I'll show you my swedge. All right, so we got our swedge right there. I like that swedge tool. It makes it a lot easier. Our new filter dryer. So our leak was right in here somewhere. So we got that cut out now. We got a new filter dryer in. So now I got 3 braze points. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock them out. All right, here goes nothing. Alright, looks like we got them points brazed, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put some pressure on it. I'm gonna check this bottom one, see how it looks. I know I kind of caked it on that one a little bit, but better safe than sorry. Alright, we're back. So my brace joints ain't the prettiest. Let's see how you can see. But you can see it ain't horrible, but definitely not my best. On this side it looks kind of a little rough. But I bumped it up to 151.5, and so it's been hanging in there, maybe climbing a little, but it's staying right around there. I did go over my joints with some Big Blue, but I'm getting ready to leave this set for about 10 more minutes, and then I mean, you can see it's a straight line across there. I mean, it ain't going nowhere. So I'm getting ready to let the nitrogen out, and then once I get the nitrogen out, I'll put it on a vacuum. We'll get pulled down to 500 microns or below and charge it up. It takes 20 ounces, so we'll weigh that in. Alright, so we are now pulling a vacuum. We did the repair. We did the nitrogen test. It held nitrogen. We used soap bubbles. So now we're just going to wait and let it pull down. So once it gets pulled down, then we'll weigh in and charge. I'm going to go start taking some stuff out, putting some stuff away, and bringing in 404 on the scale, because we're getting close to the finish line finally. But we only got one more today, so it won't be too bad. Alright, now we got the vacuum pulled. We're sitting at 414. It's bouncing around a little bit, but it did pull down. You can tell on it where I messed with the gauges. But we're getting ready to take our stuff off and go ahead and charge it. We're going to weigh in 20 ounces of 404. Okay, so I am weighing the charge in right now. And I am almost. I'd say I'm good. I do go a little over just for what my hoses take. Not a lot. The charge was 20 ounces. I think we'll be right in there with that. So we got everything off. We fed everything through our high side, not to flush any of the oil out. We'll go ahead and shut this off. We're going to go turn this on. We're going to get our pressures. So that looks a little more like it compared to what it did earlier at 5. So now it's showing our bin control when we turn it on. That's good. It usually does that. So in a few minutes, hopefully we go into freeze. The bin switch is definitely not tripped though. There is no ice in there.
So it's like 58 down. And they pay that like that. It's like Christmas money. That's how it's been all day. Are you good over there, Shannon?
Here, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it off and turn it back on. Sometimes that lets it go past the bin switch. And if the bin switch stays on, we'll just clean the sensors and put it back together. To clean the sensors, it's actually pretty easy. Right here on these is our bin switch, and they pull right out. Just a little electric eye. But I don't feel like they were lined up either. So, and you can hear them, they snap, so it makes it a little bit easier to know. So we're still saying bin. Oh, we went to freeze. On these cublet machines, they don't take very long to make ice either. Within a few minutes, we're going to be dropping ice, which I can show you from right under here. And you can see the eyes too on this from up there. But as you can hear, it's not wasting no time. I think we're going to have pieces of ice in no time. And then you'll just see it fall. I'll cut back in once we're making some ice. Alright, so now we're making ice. And you can see it's just an auger. And I'll show you, I got actually one of them shafts in my truck. It just goes down and falls right down to the bib. It fills all the way up to that spot where I showed you the sensors just right in the bottom. But I'm just going to pull it all back apart and put it together. Seems like everything's snug up there. You can see your water level's good too. So float's working, it's not overflowing, it's not too full. But I will cut back and show you that auger. Alright, here's that auger I was telling you about. That white thing goes over this. This is the extruder, but there's the screw that actually scrapes the ice up, pushes it through these holes. And then that sweep pushes them right into the bin. But pretty simple.